Hi, I'm Leanne Ely. I'm a nutritionist, a New York Times best-selling author, and some people even say I'm a life coach. I started the Daily Dish Show to share my story, my truth, and my journey to vibrancy, and to inspire others to do the same. Because it's all about grit, perseverance, and finding a way despite the odds. It's about embracing the whole woman, not just the parts that are easy to love, and feeding her heart, mind, body, and soul. But I found that this isn't just my story, it's your story too. It's go time. This is the Daily Dish. It is Daily Dish time, and I have one little surprise for you. This is a recorded Daily Dish, so I'm not going to be greeting you as you come in today. Big stuff going on personally here, good stuff. And so that is why today I cannot be there live. But I did record a show for you because I think it's important to wrap the week in something that I want everyone to really take seriously. This week we've been talking about blind spots. We've been talking about overcoming obstacles and the also the taboo subject of self-discipline. We talked about that yesterday. Today is going to wrap up the whole thing in a nice package. We're going to talk about grit. Okay, so stay with me. Meanwhile, I've got the gratitude journal going on right now. This is brand new. It is all scientifically based. And in this gratitude journal, you have these two lovely this month, this week bookmarks to help you see your progress, because that's part of becoming, right? That's part of becoming. And the reason why this is I think is such a big deal and will take you down that road into the place of a practice of daily gratitude and just basically the plumb line that goes throughout your entire life is that it's a game changer. And it really shows you that when we have gratitude foundationally placed, then our lives are going to be a whole lot more sunny, optimistic, and happy. And who doesn't want that? I mean, all of us do. You can find this and take a peek-see at it at savingdinner.com/grateful. And strong suggestion is that you take advantage of this because we have a few left after full bloom. And speaking of that, if you are thinking, yeah, I would like to be a little more sunny, optimistic, and have a better sense of gratitude in my life and feel better about my entire being, you can find that at savingdinner.com/bloom and get the recording from last Saturday. It's all there for you. And one thing that's good about that is once you have it for life. You can always go back and take a look at it. On 2 weeks from today, isn't it 2 weeks from today? Today's Thursday. Yes, 2 weeks from today is June 1st. And that is the day that we start the Hot Melt 30. You can find all the information on the Hot Melt 30 at savingdinner.com/30, THIRTY. Now, why is this important? Because it's taking Hot Melt principles, if you've done the Hot Melt Sprint for free, and a lot of you have, you understand how an anti-inflammatory approach to eating is so incredibly important. You'll see things like joint aches and pains go away, you being more satiated and full and feeling better, a lot more energy, etc. And plus, of course, the addition of weight loss and fat loss, really, and just more energy is a big deal. But if you take those principles from the Hot Melt Sprint and put it on a lifestyle, this is where you get the Hot Melt 30. This is the gateway to really changing up everything. And we do it all at one time, not to pile on, but instead to show you that these principles apply across the board. And they just easily go from one thing to the other. And we show exactly how to do it in the Hot Melt 30 guide. You can find the guide, you can find the kit, you can find the replay to the webinar, all on savingdinner.com/30, THIRTY. Don't forget that. So that's the one other thing that we have going. And then one more thing starting in 3 weeks from today on June 8th is our newest course called Crush Limiting Beliefs. Because sometimes we have limiting beliefs that hold us back. Sometimes we don't even know what they are. Sometimes we have to work through them. And I will tell you what I know beyond measure is that working together as a group and having one-on-ones, that's something else that I would do is with everybody who's going to be in this group, I do a private one-on-one with you. And also there's a little bit of homework that goes with it. And then there is the uplift of the community that is incredible. You can find all of this out at savingdinner.com/no limits. That's our Crushing Limiting Beliefs course. It's 6 weeks. It's on a Thursday night, 7 p.m. Eastern. And I really want to encourage you to take a gander at this web page that we've put up for you so you can see what it's all about and really consider, is this for me? Because I'm going to guarantee a lot of you are going to look at this and nod knowingly and say, yeah, that's for me. So that's, again, savingdinner.com/no limits. Go take a peek at that. We have a great quote of the week that just absolutely inspired this week's worth of shows. And that is, if you want to reach your goals, you got to shrink the size of your butt, B-U-T, not B-U-T-T, B-U-T. Isn't that the truth? Because our goals are predicated on this notion that we're going to hang in there, that we're going to stay the course. And that's what this is all about. The problem is a lot of us Irish goodbye, take off, say, that's it, give it our all for 3-4 days, and then it's done. And what I know is that when we quit on ourselves and when we don't persevere, then we find ourselves in this frustrating loop of going back and forth and back and forth. I'm here, I'm gone, I'm here, I'm gone, I'm here, I'm gone. I mean it this time, I'm gone. And I'm going to tell you what really is the predicate that predicates the success that you're looking at. You know what it is? I'm going to give it to you straight. It's grit. It is grit. Now, I have this cup that we had. I don't think we even have these anymore, but I have grit, not quit. This is one of the mindful mugs that we had. I wanted it in bright red. I wanted it in black to really stick out and show me. Now, you can drink coffee out of this if you want. I personally have put all my pens and pencils and what have you in here because I want it looking at me every single day. I want to remind myself of my grit. And by the way, if you're wondering what happened to my face and you haven't been around all week, go back to Monday's show. I'll explain the whole thing. And that whole show is really about resilience and grit. Okay? So I would strongly suggest that you go watch Monday's show. That was on, the 22nd? Yeah, Monday the 22nd. Go watch that show. It'll tell you. Show notes are there too. By the way, if you're not getting show notes, you're missing out. Go to Saving Dinner and just the little pop-up will come up, and it's what we call a double opt-in, y'all. So that means that you'll have to sign put your email in there, and then our email provider will send you an email saying, are you sure you want this? And we're doing this just to keep the spam bots off of us. So yeah, just say, yes, I do. It's that simple. So what is it that we need to be looking at then when it comes to this grit stuff? What is it? Grit, in my opinion, is the differentiator between those who keep quitting on themselves and those who stand the test of time and persevere and get through. Because this is what grit means. Angela Duckworth, she's a researcher at the University of Pennsylvania, wrote a book called Grit, the Power of Passion and Perseverance. And that's what her definition of grit is. A blend of passion and perseverance to attain your long-term goals. And it's a rare thing. Unfortunately, it's a rare thing. One of the reasons why it's a rare thing is because people don't really think about it and notice it or go after that. They're instead going after something, a goal, and not thinking about what it's going to take in order to get there. This grit that we're talking about is a mindset piece. You can write that down. You can underline it. You can circle it, you can highlight it in bright orange. And the reason that I say this is because of without this grit, reaching that goal is going to be near impossible because we have to bring ourselves into it. We have to trust that we have the stuff in order to do it. And I'm going to tell you right now, you do. Possibly it's underdeveloped. Possibly it's laying dormant. Possibly you've used that for other situations, but you haven't used it for yourself. I find a lot of times people with extraordinary grit have used this in situations where they've had to be very passionate and persevering on a certain situation. And usually for women especially, it's for someone else and not themselves. So what if that was applied to yourself? What if you think about the last time that you really showed some grit, that you held in there, you didn't waver, you stayed the course? Was it for someone else or a situation or something, a child, a spouse? What if you turn the tables and put this on yourself? Because according to what Duckworth says, is that grit is a powerful predictor of success and achievement. And get this, it surpasses talent and intelligence. Because grit doesn't care. Grit is the thing that holds your feet to the fire. Grit is the thing that says, I know it's hard. I know it'd be easier to X, Y, and Z, but we're going to stay the course. We're going to be doing this anyway. We're going to just give it 5 minutes. We're going to stay, we're going to get up and put our gym clothes on anyway. We're going to do this. Hold the course, because there's an important thing that we have to look at, and that's the outcome of what grit provides. And it's success, it's achievement. And there are so many things that you can look at that, people with grit have succeeded in and have achieved. And in our group, the Hot Melt Sprint group, go in there. You're going to see these people posting daily. You know their names, you know what they're about, and you know their success stories. They didn't get there without grit. Grit courses through their veins. Without grit, there is no accomplishment. Now, grit doesn't mean that you are doing and executing perfectly, but it does mean you are going through not just the motions, but you're going through the steps in order to achieve the hotly desired thing that you want. And when you start to feel that hot desire waver, you go pump yourself back up again, right? You create rules for yourself. So you go off the rails maybe for a meal, and your rule is, that's it. It's one meal. And now I'm back. And now I'm back and pursuing my goals with all the passion, with all the perseverance, with all the resilience, with everything that I've got, because this goal is important to me. And you know what happens? Because grit's contribution to resilience and capacity to overcome adversity means you're going to overcome those challenges. There is going to be something that comes up, because we do not pursue easy goals. Goals always mean there's a little struggle involved. There is something to be overcome. And there is, while there might be light at the end of the tunnel, there's a lot of darkness to go through to get there too. But that shouldn't hold you back. That shouldn't make you fearful. It should just prepare you and steel you and your will and your self-discipline and everything it is that's inside of you to want that even more. Because when we overcome challenges, we prove to ourselves that the strength that we think is there really is. We exercise that muscle. And I will tell you that when you do exercise that muscle, and when you do prove your mettle and show that you've got grit and not quit, there is something that stirs inside of you, something that builds up not only that grit muscle of yours, not only that resilience that you have, but it helps you to grow more, and it helps to fulfill you even if you haven't quite reached your goal yet, even if you're not quite there yet, it fuels the desire to keep going because you prove over and over again that little act of grit that's simply staying the course on a daily basis in a little way, doing your meditation practice, preparing your meals ahead of time, hydrating. And if you're going to be doing the Hot Melt 30, I'll tell you, a little grit's going to help you out. Ask Tanya, ask Flynn, ask Jocelyn. There's so many people who have done this, stayed the course, and they've gotten the results. And let me just tell you, they didn't do it perfectly. They didn't do it, absolutely on point with every single thing every single day. They did it to the best of their ability, though. They fought with themselves a little bit along the way, but they dug deep. They found the grit because the passion for achieving this goal was bigger than their biggest excuse. That's what grit is. And sprinkle that grit right over the top of any goal, and you'll find yourself really going for it. So what are some of the principles of grit? Number one is passion. And passion is this thing where it drives us to get what it is that we want. Passion's a motive. Passion is, gosh, I really want that. And that's how if we have passion, we can stay the course. We can stay committed to these goals. So enduring passion is related to grit because enduring passion is what pulls the grit out of us. We see this goal, we want this. We get our phones, we speak into our phones, we voice memo ourselves. We feel it. We journal about it. We talk about it to someone else. We get a body clutter buddy. And if we're missing an action for a few days, that body clutter buddy is going to say to us, wait, where have you been? What's going on here? Talk to me. And when we don't use excuses like, well, life just got in the way. That's just inane and dumb. Of course, life's going to get in the way. Life's always going to get in the way when you have a passionate goal. That's part and parcel. We have to expect that. Grit says no to that. Grit says, okay, we have this going on or whatever. But grit says, and today is a new day. And this is a new meal. And this is a new week. We can do this. And we don't have to wait till Mondays. That's why we're starting on June 1st, by the way, which is a Thursday for the Hot Melt 30. We don't have to wait for all of that. But we have, what we have to do is we need to find a way. Let me ask you, do you think Diana Nyad had a little grit in her when she said find a way, and her fourth time crossing that ocean to prove the point that a woman can do this at 64 years old tells you a little bit of something about grit. You find a way. You get stung with jellyfish, you keep going. You're, not in a cage and there's sharks all around, you keep going. Because we're all Diana Nyad in that water. If we choose to be. If we decide that we've got grit and not quit. We all are. So when I see Diana Nyad, what I see is 100% pure, unadulterated grit. This is a woman who stayed the course and accomplished her goal, a goal that she'd had for years, right? Michael Phelps, the same thing. Tiger Woods. You can think of all the great athletes out there. That's their differentiator. And you don't have to be a great athlete. You just have to have the same kind of stuff inside of you, which you do, planted and placed there by God himself, to pull out the strength for what it is that you want. You might not be getting into the ocean and swimming with sharks and jellyfish, but you are trying to persevere through your own ocean of sharks and jellyfish to get to the other side, to achieve the things that you want. You gotta have grit. So this persistence concept of grit is a daily thing. It's stirring the pot. It's preparing yourself mentally, physically, and emotionally, and even spiritually for staying the course. It's getting up every day and affirming that today you're going to stay the course. Today you're going to knock it out of the park. Today you're going to do the things that you say you're going to do, because again, that puts you in alignment with your desire, which makes it so much easier. Even when it's hard, it makes it easier because then you have something to celebrate at the end of it. The other thing that you need to do is you need to be looking at consistency, because that's part of grit as well. Diana Nyad didn't just get in the ocean and one day randomly decide to swim. She practiced beforehand. She practiced. This was an endurance event. And isn't that what getting to a goal is? It's an endurance event. And it means staying the course on a daily basis. You need to give it consistent effort over time in order to get to the place where you land and nail the goal. And that journey, that grit journey that you're on to get there, it's huge. It is huge, because this is the significance of what's inside of you showing up and performing, landing it, nailing it, giving you a perfect 10, right? And when I say perfect 10, it wasn't because you perfectly executed all along the way. It's because you finally nailed your goal. So how do you develop grit? Well, there's some things that you can do. Number one is you need to develop a long-term goal that you want. What is it that you can put the passion behind? What is it that you can dig deep on? What is it that you want so much so that you're just almost salivating thinking about it, that you get a motive about? That's your goal. Be clear about it, be specific about it, and put it down in present tense. I am whatever. I did this with my whole I am an athlete thing. I've shared that this week. If you haven't seen the shows, go watch the shows. But I am an athlete steered my boat for these last few years, getting me to a place of physicality that I haven't experienced in years, and I really believe that really helped me with my injury. And you can see this is almost gone. This is almost gone. And this is shrunk significantly. We're almost there on healing. It's amazing what happens when you follow through on some stuff. You need to, number two, you need to embrace those challenges. They're going to come. We look at challenges like, oh, it's just life just happened. Like I said, that one just kind of makes me cringy, right? It's expected. It's part of it. When you have something worthwhile to pursue, you are going to have obstacles. You are going to have challenges. But I'm going to tell you right now, if we look at these challenges as an opportunity to grow, and I know you've heard this before over and over again, but what about this? Somebody says something to you like, well, you know what? Let's just go get hamburgers at In-N-Out or whatever, something that just makes you go, oh, like this for a minute. Your answer could be, you know what? Not today. This is an opportunity for me to grow and to say no to something that I really like, love, want, but I have this, hot melt meal waiting for me at home. I'm going to do that instead. You want to come with me, or you want to, go get an iced tea somewhere or something? An unsweetened iced tea, by the way. Those are opportunities. And if we can step into that and just practice it a few times, we'll find that that's really building up that grit big time. You also need to cultivate a growth mindset. Now that's back to, I'm not going to pull it out. I just don't want to pull it out, but a growth mindset versus a fixed mindset. A growth mindset sees possibility. A fixed mindset throws it down. When your mind is closed and you think it's too hard, there's too many obstacles, I can't do this, life's coming at me, yada, 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 that is fixed. There's no opportunity. There's no possibility. When you have a growth mindset, you're constantly looking for possibilities, opportunities, and things that you can do. You look for solution. You're not focused on the problem. Carol Dweck, by the way, great book. And will really give you the whole thing on growth mindset. Number 4, I think I'm talking about this, is building passion. right? When you cultivate your interests, you maintain a sense of purpose. That helps to develop grit. What is your purpose? Like, if let's use weight loss, it's easy, for example, and Hot Melt 30 is coming up, and there's going to be a lot of people weighing and measuring themselves, right? So how do we do this? Why is weight loss helping you with a sense of purpose? Well, I'll tell you why. Because this is your car. You are the car. It's going to help you to feel better. It's going to help you to get rid of pain and suffering and can't do's to possibilities. When you are in a body that's holding you back from the potential of what it could be, then that's something that you have to look at, because is that holding you back from your purpose? If you're put here on purpose and for purpose, do you think that you want to be hobbled by something that's not working very well? Or do you want to be in a race car versus a jalopy that's just barely making it down the road? Think about that for a minute, because this is your home. This is where you live. You cannot trade this thing in. Your car can break down and have all kinds of stuff. You can replace the transmission. You can do all kinds of stuff with your car. But there's going to be a time where the mechanic says, honey, you just need to go get a new car. And you trade the old jalopy in and you get a brand new car, and it's got all the bells and whistles and it runs like a top. We don't get the opportunity to do that with our bods. You got what you got. How are you maintaining this vessel? And I believe, by the way, this is the ultimate test of stewardship from God himself. He's given this to you. Are you abusing it, or are you loving it up? Are you taking care of it with passion, or is it basically set on the side of the road, broken down most of the time, not able to get around? That's on you, personal responsibility there. And then the next thing is that you have to work on habit building and your practice. Grit is a practice, because every day there is a test. How are you going to pass that test? Are you going to dig deep, or are you just going to let it go? Are you going to say, well, this is what I've always done and this is the way it's always going to be, and just be content with that? Not really. You say out loud you're content, but in the back of your mind, I know it's grumbling. But I will tell you that we can develop the habit of grit simply by asking ourselves and noticing, what am I doing in my day? Is this working? Is this propelling me toward my goals or taking me down? Every single day that you do this, you build a little bit more. And when we understand the principles of grit, we can install these strategies into our lives. We can notice even more. We can be these women who are driven by passion, and also driven by this idea that we can persevere. We can get from here to there simply by understanding and knowing that inside each one of us, by divine design, is grit. Are you going to pull it out? Are you going to develop it? Are you going to start showing up for yourself? That's the question you need to ask yourself today. Now, as we go into the weekend, I want you to start thinking about a couple of different things. One is, do you have limiting beliefs that are holding you back from really pursuing and with passion the goals that you want? That could be part of the problem. Because I'm going to tell you, especially anybody who is on a weight loss journey or whatever, who thinks that it's all about the food and the plan, that's 97% of the population. And 97% of the population will get it going, and then they'll lose their way and they'll Irish goodbye. And they're in and out, in and out, in and out. What is the maker of grit is eliminating limiting beliefs. And you have to, because those are the things that are holding back. It's like invisible cords in your head. So check out our Crush Limiting Beliefs course. You will find it at savingdinner.com/no limits. It's time. It's time to step into the life that you want and not just accept any old thing. There's a lot of control that you have that I'm thinking you might not have even started to tap yet. So give that a look, see, will you? And by the way, all of our announcements you can find at savingdinner.com/announcements. Everything is there for you. At your leisure, you can go through and click through everything. And don't forget, Carb Cutter, that's the end of it this week. Whoa, there it is. Buy 3, get 1 free. That's also, you'll find at savingdinner.com/show. But the announcements page has all of that. Enough out of me. I got to get going. Hit the road. I certainly appreciate you showing up. Thank you so much for that. I'll see you on Monday. Peace be with you. Bye-bye.
Thank you for joining me today. You can find me on TikTok for daily tips to help support your most vibrant life. And remember, you are the author of your own story. Until next time.